All right, lights, camera, Barstool. We're going to be doing a draft of time-based movies. We're doing this kind of in honor of Loki, which has just wrapped up recently. Loki, obviously, very entrenched in the time world. Uh, who's the guy on the Celtics they call Time Lord? Robert Williams?
Yeah.
Time Lord? Yeah, all right. Shout out to the Time Lord. But yeah, time-based movies. No Jeff, as he is parasailing in Uruguay right now. But we will be doing this without him, just me and Gooch, and 5 picks each of time-based movies. Gooch, you go first.
Back to the Future. It's Back to the Future. Like that's just it is the gold standard of time travel. It makes sense. It works. It's fun every time you watch it. It's in many respects a perfect movie. It is perfect 80s. Still holds up. Like there's really not much to nitpick there. Like I don't know. The soundtrack fucking rules. Like what do you want?
Adam
It
Silvestri.
is just like you think time travel movie, the first thing you think is Back to the Future.
Yeah, it is crazy. Sylvester did both Back to the Future and Avengers, just like that many years apart. A long
Wait,
ass
what?
break. The guy that did the unless we're talking about the score. Were you talking about just the actual soundtrack?
I was talking about just the soundtrack, the Huey
Okay,
Lewis beats with Chuck Berry and
because like that classic score of Back to the Future, like was Sylvester, who also did Endgame.
I did. See in my head. I thought that was John Williams who did like
no, it's a
the
very
ascending.
John Williamsy score. Yeah,
Yeah, just in my head, working with Spielberg obviously didn't direct, but was involved with the movie, so I figured it was just in my head. I didn't realize Alan Silvestri's been working that long. To be honest,
yeah, he's been around. Been around the block.
See, I thought he started like late '90s.
Yeah, and he did Mission Impossible, I believe, as well.
Sounds right. He did the first Avengers theme, right?
Yeah, and he did Lorne Balfe did did Fallout, because Fallout soundtrack was awesome. I really love Fallout soundtrack. That was Lorne Balfe, I think. But yeah, Back to the Future classic. That's one of the. I don't know how to explain it better than Back to the Future is one of the movies, and I think that's.
Yeah,
I think
that's a great way to put it. It's just like in the history of cinema, it is like just one of the movies. Like
it is one of the movies.
If you like started to write a book about the history of film, it probably makes it in the first chapter. Like
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like there with like you can't talk about movies without that. Like
let's see. Okay, because I have one of these. All right. Let's see. The Movie Book.
Oh, God, he's a learned man.
The Movie Book, just on the cover of it. I don't see on the cover. Let's see if it's in the index. I'm very interested because I feel like it has to be on here. What year was it? 1985?
4?
Right? Star Wars, Das Boot, Blade Runner, Blue Velvet. And there she blows. Back to the Future. They have a lot of weird picks in here too. But this is actually a pretty interesting book because they give you like breakdowns and all this shit. Got like Rashomon on the cover. Yeah, I mean it's just one of the singular movies. And obviously like time travel. As far as time travel goes, I feel like I'm sure Back to the Future borrowed elements from other movies or Twilight Zone, whatever shit that did shit in time travel. But like Back to the Future became like kind of the gold standard, like, or boilerplate for time travel movies that came after it, and inspired.
Even in like modern time travel movies, they can't do them without even like talk like in the script having a reference to Back to the Future, being like, oh, like in Back to the Future, like. Endgame, I think Totally Killer did it too. Like,
yes,
a lot of them do it.
Yes, exactly. It became the thing, and it inspired a whole bunch of other movies that did a bunch of time travel stuff, kind of similar to it too, like Going to Meet Your Parents or whatever, in old timey things. And again, a lot of that you can say is inspired by stuff from, Twilight Zone, whatever shit in the 50s, 60s, but still. Back to the Future, first overall. I'll do one that's like, it's not based on time travel, I would say, but it kind of is at the same time. Terminator 2. T2, I think, is like, as long as you're talking about movies that are focused around like that being a primary element, like a time travel thing, I think T2 is among the best. And it might not be a movie that's like singularly about that thing, but it provides sort of like the basis and like the backbone of the storyline is the ability to time travel and like how certain things loop into other things, closing shit up like that. And T2 is just one of the greatest action movies of all time. And it just, I mean, shout out James Cameron, our fucking boy, inventing the Terminator based off of a dream he had on mushrooms or whatever of a walking skeleton on fire. Fucking beast mode, James Cameron. T2 is just up there, gold standard movie, I think, of all action, any action genre, really.
Yeah, it was number 2 on my list too. Like an easy number 2. Like there was kind of no hesitation putting it there. Yeah, no, it's another movie where it's like it is one of the movies. It's like it's phenomenal. Like it looks. Not only is it like very just cool, it's just like amazingly shot. Like just has a great script to it. Has so many great moments in it. Yeah, no. T2
all timer.
Talk about a franchise that has just fumbled the bag, because I actually do think Terminator still works.
It's
like there's stuff that doesn't work still today. Like they keep trying to do Ghostbusters, and the last one, granted, was pretty good. But like Ghostbusters is like a thing where I'm like, does this? I don't know if this works outside of the '80s. Like the original is very good and I love it, but don't know if they need to keep trying this. Terminator is one where I'm like, maybe we should keep trying these until we get a good one, because it feels like there's a lot of meat left on the bone. I don't know.
Yeah,
such a cool universe with cool lore.
I think that part of the issue with Terminator is that it is very often imitated, that world of like killer robot AI thing, you know what I mean? And that proliferates the market too much. And like that's not to say you could just make a good Terminator. Like that's very possible. You could just make one and that all that other shit goes out the window. But like it makes it more difficult to make it stand out, I guess, when there's so many other things doing that same sort of deal. But yeah, it's like you're saying, it's fucking rich lore universe, cool shit going on. Like the idea of the walking metal skeleton is like horrifying. Like you should be able to do something with this. But yeah, T2, right, especially with
there. Like the CGI effects today would make it look even better. Like, but they just continue to do stupid shit with it. I don't know. That's so dumb.
I'll back it with Interstellar. Interstellar got to be up there as far as movies that like tackle, I think, time in a different way. Because like, for whatever you want to say about Interstellar, like what works, what doesn't, blah 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 blah. Like Interstellar, it is it goes after a more difficult concept of time than I think most movies do, especially in like a mass appeal movie like Interstellar is. And I think it dumbs it down enough where you can understand almost everything that's going on, and it still gives you like this sort of sense of like being very small. You know what I mean? Like you go into this black hole and like they come back and it's been like a 50-year time difference, or like him and the Tesseract thing, just like with tapping on like all those little things, like all their way that they explain like this conceptual shit of time, I think is very interesting. And like you could say like, yeah, it's a dumb person's idea of a very smart movie. Sure, I don't care. I think the way that Nolan breaks down time in it is really, really cool. And I think that again, it is more digestible than he did in Tenet. Tenet, I think, is on the opposite end of that spectrum. But yeah, so you got to put Interstellar up there, I think, with time movies.
No, I mean, it was going to be my pick, so I am a little bummed on that. But yeah, no, I always push back on the like Nolan makes smart movies for dumb people. I think he's just like, I think most of his scripts are so smart. Outside of Tenet, one of his biggest strengths is that he takes these really high level sci-fi concepts and he's able to like simplify them to the point where anyone can understand. Anyone at all. Like people, that's why when people say like, I didn't get Inception on the first watch, I'm like, how did you not get Inception on the first watch? It is so straightforward and so dumbed down. It's so easy to follow. Like Interstellar, same thing. Like they are so clear, like the illustrations, he shows how the wormhole works in like the most basic way that a physics professor would teach you that. Like, yeah, no, it's great. I love Interstellar and I almost like it more every time I watch it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And awesome soundtrack, awesome scenes, great acting throughout. I always love the scene and the music, the way everything comes together in the scene where he has to dock the spinning spaceship. The thing is so good. It's just fucking perfect.
I didn't want to tweet it out yesterday because it's obviously like Oppenheimer dick riding season. So like any pushback you give on the movie, but someone tweeted out the gym scene from Oppenheimer and was like, this is Nolan's best scene of his career. And I'm like, that docking scene in Interstellar. I don't know. That shit is fucking fire.
I saw on recently. I rewatched the scene from Oppenheimer with where Damon and Oppenheimer or whatever General Leslie and him they first meet, and he's like, "Why don't you have a Nobel Prize? Why aren't you a general? They're making me one for this. Maybe I'll be the same. You get a Nobel Prize for making a bomb. Alfred Nobel made dynamite, and it's like that's just like a nice, quick like people forget like he can make a really good script like kind of relatively easily. Like he's not like some idiot guy that just makes big fucking Michael Bay shit. He's a smart dude."
He's a great screenwriter. He has his weaknesses, but most screenwriters do have their weaknesses. His aren't as glaring as others. Like I think he does struggle writing relationships, but outside of that, the guy is a phenomenal writer.
Guess fucking what? That's part of what makes most of his movies good is that they don't hang up on relationships. Like that is so often a massive issue in a big blockbuster movie is that, hey, we need to insert a relationship in this. You don't. You absolutely don't. Fucking go look at John Wick, dude. Like, go look at any of these movies. You don't need to have someone speak to someone of the opposite or same sex or someone that they're interested in order to give them any depth. You don't need it at all. And I think that Nolan, he minimizes it and he doesn't do it well for whatever you could say that for sure. But like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No. All right, our Nolan dick writing session is over. Time to get into our Villeneuve dick writing session. This is weekly because I'm going to go Arrival. I think Arrival kind of same era as Interstellar. Movies that actually kind of got flipped up in my head at one point. But Arrival is just fantastic. The way I think it has maybe the best closing 5 minutes of any movie ever. Just the way it ties in the time, like you don't think it's a time travel movie or a time based movie when you're watching it, but then you get to the end and you realize it is like 100%, and it is so good throughout. The score is good, but the soundtrack is even, I think, better. That I can't remember the name of the song that they use at the end, but it's so good and so well used there. Amy Adams, great. Jeremy Renner, believe it or not, people tend to forget. The guy can fucking act.
Beast in that.
When he wants to act, the man turns in like Oscar level performances when he's not doing faux Hawkeye.
Shit was so dumb.
Get better, Jeremy. But yeah, no, it's a great film. By the way, the other day, I don't know if you were watching The Dozen for ZD versus I don't know who the fuck they're playing. I can't even remember now. But one of the questions, it was ZD versus Minahan. And one of the questions was about the movie Evolution with David Duchovny and Orlando Jones. And
Jesus.
Dave was like, "Oh, that's a really good movie." He's like, "That's a really good movie with the ink monsters, the ink aliens." he just had Evolution and Arrival mixed up.
No.
Two movies that couldn't be further apart.
Yeah, that's different stratosphere.
Arrival, I love it. Great. I mean,
Arrival.
Denny is just like when I sit and think about his like filmography, it really is nuts. Like the guy just has not even come close to missing.
Not even
hasn't sniffed it.
No, and like you could say like his worst movies are just the ones that people haven't really watched. Like you know what I mean? Like maybe, and they're not bad either. That's the thing. They're not bad movies. So they're not misses. It's like Polytechnic. Like that's not a bad movie. Like I don't fucking know, man. It's unbelievable.
He's got the Aaron Donald like numbers where it's just like, oh, he came in the league and he's just like all pro every year, doesn't miss
every single year, leading the league in like 5 different stats. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You have back to back.
Oh, I am back to back. There's a lot. There's a bit of a fall off here. I think after maybe not a fall off, but there's a lot to choose from. I got my favorites out of the way. I'm going to go with, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go Edge of Tomorrow.
Damn. I really hoped if I get that. Damn.
Yeah. It might be recency bias, and I had a feeling you'd take it on your next 2 picks. Edge of Tomorrow is just like one of those movies that just slipped by everybody, it feels like. I know it probably made like 150 million at the box office, but it feels like when it came out, no one was talking about it the way people talk about it now, which is like one of Tom Cruise's best movies, which is crazy to say. Emily Blunt, you talk about like strong female leads that aren't like just gender swapped or reimagined. Good Lord. She's so fucking cool in that movie and so jacked and like such a badass. The monsters look cool. It's like you love Neil Blomkamp, very Blomkamp inspired. The concept of it really works if you're like a gamer. Like it's almost like a video game at points. Like I don't like the way they respawn every single time. Very cool. And if you like that last Loki episode, honestly,
for sure,
Loki kind of used like that style of like time travel. Like he keeps going back and keeps trying again.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a really good pick. Really wanted it for my next one as well. I'm happy. I feel like it went like 5 years without being on streaming because that's the way I discovered it. I didn't watch it in theaters. I saw it on streaming whenever I saw it for the first time.
I watched it on TNT.
Yeah, and like it just had a very long break, not on streaming, and now it's been back for a while now across a couple different platforms, which is great because it's one of the better original sci-fi movies and just one of the best looking ones. It's like as far as like very heavily dependent CGI movies goes, it looks great.
Do you think anybody who worked on marketing for that movie still has a job?
That's a great question.
That's one of the biggest marketing botches of all time.
That
changing the name like 5 times.
Because there was some like fucking studio executive that was like, "No, we need to live, die, repeat." Like, just stupid.
That's not very SEO friendly. You can't put periods in the title.
It's so dumb. What's it called? Who was really good in that? Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton was fucking awesome in that.
Yeah,
he's the sergeant or whatever. It was really good.
Yeah.
So Edge of Tomorrow for you. I got back to back. I'll start with About Time. About Time. Okay. Domhnall Gleeson banger. Donald Gleeson. Someone explained it to me exactly how to pronounce it once, and he said it's kind of like donut, but I don't feel like that sounds right. Donald Gleeson.
Donald Gleeson.
That was not even. Was that supposed to be Irish or something? I don't know where you're going.
I don't know. I started talking and a word like a noise just came out.
You just did like what was that lady from that famous Vine where she tries to like do a Jamaican accent and she's like, it's like, what do you but yeah, About Time, awesome movie, really cool little concept. Like just like everyone in our family can just manipulate time and go back whenever we can remember. And like it's like that sounds so dumb, but the way that's almost that insane sci-fi craziness is just sort of like not the primary focus of it. It's really just a really good family drama that happens to be in an insane conceptual thing like that is crazy. Really, really good screenwriting throughout it. I think that Bill Nighy and Gleason together were incredible. Especially that last scene with him and his dad, like saying goodbye for the last time. Tears every time, dude. It is an all-time great moment. And I think a very underappreciated is maybe the wrong word, or even underrated. Like I feel like anyone who's seen it has pretty much liked it, but I don't think enough people have seen it. I think more people need to watch About Time. It's a good ass movie.
I know a few people who would put that in like their 10 favorite movies ever. Like, some people really, really love that movie.
Joe Balls is up there. It's one of his favorites.
Yeah. Bill Nighy, by the way, if we did like an underrated list of actors, Bill Nighy's got to make that list.
He does everything, dude. He's a fucking jack of all trades.
He almost gives like Circus a run for his money in terms of like best mocap performances ever. That him is what's it face. Davy Jones was still crazy.
Him is Davy Jones. He was also the main vampire bad guy in Underworld, which is a random thing to shout out, but he was really good in that.
Of course,
he was fucking Hot.
That movie last year was really good that he did. No one saw it. Living.
Yeah. Oh fuck. What? Damn, I forgot the name of it. That's so bad.
Living.
Yes.
It's called Living. Yeah. No one saw it. No one saw it.
He rocks. He's a good ass director. Shaun of the Dead he was in too. Yeah, he was the stepdad.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about that. But dude, he's a good ass actor. And he's excellent in About Time. After About Time, it gets a little bit murkier because I want to pick that everyone will like when this goes head to head. And I think you definitely have the edge right now as far as like mainstream things go. Interstellar, I think, maybe gives me a bit of a bump, but About Time is going to set me back a lot.
I don't know.
No, obviously Back to the Future's name brand, I guess, as is like a Rivals up there too. And Edge of Tomorrow people love because people love saying underrated stuff is amazing. So I'm between a couple on my list. I think I'll go with, let's do Hot Tub Time Machine. Hot Tub Time Machine. Hot Tub Time Machine is one of the funnier movies to come out in the last, like, I guess it was probably like 2010, so over a decade ago, which is crazy. But Hot Tub Time Machine, is that write it down? Hot Tub Time Machine, I think, is a very, very funny movie. A very unique opinion of me to be the only person that thinks Hot Tub Time Machine is funny. But the whole cast of that is amazing. Cordry, Craig Robinson, what's his homie's name? Clark Duke.
Yeah, Clark Duke.
Not,
I don't even know if
look at that dude's face, and he's not Clark Duke. I'm sorry, it is what it is. He directs now too. I think he made.
Did he make Arkansas?
Yes, that was it. I was trying to think. He did the Liam Hemsworth movie. I forgot the name of the movie.
Yes, that was good.
Pretty solid movie. Yeah. But Hot Tub Time Machine was super, super, super funny. Really good gags and bits throughout it, and like their version, like their time travel sort of. Again, being the Hot Tub Time Machine is just so stupid, but it's so funny. And I just love like so many little bits in it. Obviously, we always talk about the waiting for the ski instructor to lose the arm or whatever, and like, but then also you add on to that. I think a scene that made me laugh very hard the first time I watched it was when they first get into the tub, or first get out of the tub, and Craig Robinson must be some sort of hot tub time machine, and like looks at the camera. It's so funny, dude. There's so many great moments in Hot Tub Time Machine, so I'm gonna go with that.
You said it. Like, it is very, I don't want to say slept on because everyone's seen it, everyone likes it, but like when you talk about like the comedies from like a decade ago, it never gets put into the mix with like, I want to say like the Step Brothers, those late 2000 aughts comedies, like Superbad. I'd say The Other Guys gets talked about quite a bit more, like, but you never, even Role Models gets talked about more, but Hot Tub Time Machine never really gets that respect as like the great comedy that it is, when in reality, it's fantastic. Like, start to finish, holds up very well too.
That too, yeah, which is very big.
Yeah.
So your last two picks.
Last two picks. This one will help you with popularity. I'm gonna go Mikado Shinkai. I'm gonna go Your Name. Anime movie. It's a fantastic movie. And it seems a little corny on its face. Two high schoolers swapping bodies. They're in Japan, live in two different cities. They keep swapping bodies, come to the realization they're actually in two different times as well. The way it plays out is just like the threads that tie together. It's tied up perfectly. Beautiful soundtrack. Some of the most gorgeous. This is kind of like Shinkai's, like, trademark is the animation always just looks breathtaking to look at. The rain looks gorgeous. If you've never seen Your Name, it's a great spot to start. If you want to like watch an anime movie outside of Ghibli, that's a great place to start. Is Your Name. So good.
What's the one he did last year that was really good?
Suzume.
Or this year. What's up?
Suzume.
That's right. Yeah, that was really good.
Very good. Yeah, that'll probably end up in my top 10 also this year. Really well done.
Yeah, all of his movies. He did like 5 millimeters per second.
I guess they all are kind of time travel-ish.
Weathering with You.
Yeah.
That's him as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, thing doesn't really. I mean, among his big releases, I guess, hasn't really missed.
Yeah, no, he does make a lot of the same movies. I will say, if I had to pick out one thing that he probably needs to work on, a lot of the movies are kind of like, I've seen this before, but they work. So it's okay for now. Your Name is great, by the way. The dub is very good too. If you don't want to sit and read,
they're dub classics. The dubs voices or whatever, dubcasts. Yeah, why am I feel like that's wrong? But they've all been like among the last like 10, 20 years. They're good. It's not like you get like the Michael Keaton Porco Rosso shit every time. You know what I mean? Or like some random dude that is not an actual like real actor, just some guy that like happened to be a producer or like worked on some thing, and they're like, oh, you want to just be the voice actor in this? Like, these are like professionally trained dudes that are like really, really excellent at what they do. So don't let that stop you.
So dumb that people are still having this debate. Also, when people, I guess this is like 2 weeks ago now, but the voice cast list for The Boy and the Heron, the next Miyazaki Ghibli movie, came out, and it was obviously stacked top to bottom, like Robert Pattinson,
Bale,
Bale, Defoe, Florence Pugh, top to bottom, like just A-list. People were like, oh, I guess I can see this one in dub. It's like, where have you been? Ghibli's always done this. John Lasseter,
fucking like Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, John Lasseter he doesn't do the dubbing, but like he picks out the cast. Like he it's like his passion project. He loves doing them.
They like all of Ghibli has like fairly stacked voice casts. Like Ponyo, like I'm looking at, I have the steelbooks up there. Ponyo has like Matt Damon and Tina Fey.
Yeah,
fucking like,
they're all A-list. Like
Mononoke is like Claire Danes and Billy Crudup and Billy Bob Thornton and
Gillian Anderson, Minnie Driver.
Like, House Moving Castle with Christian Bale, like Kiki's Delivery. Fuck, I forget. There's a big name that I can't remember, but they all have big casts.
Yeah, so I'm just like, especially for the movies, they've always had anime movies have always kind of shelled out money for that. Like, it's tough. I don't get it. I still don't get it. Whatever.
Yeah, me neither.
So that was my 4th pick.
Yes.
And so I give out my 5th pick now.
Last pick.
Let me look through here. Some good ones that are going to get left off. So people are going to be mad. There's one from a few years ago that was great, but I don't know if it's top 10. You'll probably pick it, so I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to go with Idiocracy.
That was on my list as well.
Yeah, Idiocracy is one of those movies that just like, I hate that people like will always like, if something stupid happens today, they'll go, "Oh, we're living in Idiocracy," because it's such like an NPC comment. Like, you can be a little bit more original than that, but it rings true because Idiocracy is like, I mean, it predicts a lot of stuff. Like Mike Judge was just like, he's like, "This is where we're heading. This is where we're heading, fellas. Like, it's just going to get dumber and dumber from here." And guess what? It has. Brain rot has set in. It's so funny. The stacked cast, absolutely stacked cast. You'll like look up and you'll be like, "Oh, they're in this movie." Yup. I kind of hope they do a second one, honestly.
Yeah. Well, what do you call
Excellent.
it? Luke Wilson's brother playing the extinguator or whatever what was his name? The main, like the bad guy that's supposed to kill him in the arena.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's like the Punisher or some shit like that. But that's Luke Wilson's and Owen Wilson's brother. Also, always threw me for a loop. But yeah, I mean, great cast, super super funny even today, and it's a very relevant. Well, like welcome to Costco. I love you. I got my law degree here. Like, there's so many like, great lines in that, and like Carl's Jr.
Just watching people get hit in the nuts. Like that's their TV. Like we're like a couple years away from that, to be honest.
Yes,
there are some shows I watch, like some like ads on Netflix for shows, and I'm just like, we're so close. We are so close to watching a show that's just a guy getting hit in the nuts for 30 minutes.
That just reminds me, because my first thought when you said that was that it would be like something that would be on Quibi. Did you see Katzenberg recently just saying like
fucking idiot
dumb shit? He's like, yeah, we're gonna replace all animators with AI and be 90% more efficient. Like, you are the dipshit that put $2 billion into the dirt with Quibi. Like no, why would anyone take his opinion seriously on anything ever again? Ever.
Let us know how that works out, Cats. Let's go animate something 90% with AI and tell me how you can show the world how it looks.
Tell us how it goes, dipshit. But yeah, Idiocracy for your last pick. For my last one, I got a lot on my list. Was the one you were talking about the Tomorrow War?
No, but that is on my list, but it's not going to make it. I think if Jeff was here and we had 3 people going,
yes,
it would have been drafted, but it's just not top 10 though.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the one that you were referencing for Palm Springs.
Palm Springs,
yeah. Like Palm Springs should be it. It should be, right? Like, and by everything else, like I'm looking at the rest of my list now, and we guess we could do honorable mentions as part of this. Like I have Bill and Ted up here because that's like a classic, but it's a classic that like I never personally resonated with a lot, so I'd feel disingenuous taking it.
It's one of those ones where I don't know how well it ages or plays to like an audience, like a younger audience today. Like it's very stupid.
Source Code, a movie that fucked me in the dozen because I thought it was that other fucking movie with Jamie Foxx or something. Palm Springs, Spy Who Shagged Me up there. Like you put most Austin Power stuff. Tomorrow War, Butterfly Effect. Butterfly Effect I really did like, and I do like it now.
I don't like Butterfly Effect.
I think it's fucking creepy as fuck and a really randomly like decent movie. I never watched the second one though, and I don't think I ever will.
That's outside of and then Groundhog Day was my other one. I think that's the only one we haven't mentioned. And Back to the Future 2. I'm a Back to the Future 2 defender. I think it's not far off from the original. Like if Back to the Future is an A+, Back to the Future 2 A- in my book.
I'm gonna pick Palm Springs because I do think that Palm Springs had a kind of difficult job. Like that's a very, like we're talking about how all these time travel movies, like it is a very stomped on sort of thing that's very difficult to do in a unique way, and I think they did that. And Sandberg and what's her name, Kristen
Milioti.
They
that's
were perfect
mother
together. Yeah, and the mother from How I Met Your Mother, and J.K. Simmons, like all of them were incredible in Palm Springs. I think it was a really good movie, really like thoughtful, I guess is the word I'm looking for here. And just everything about it, I think was really good and very surprising as well. But on top of that, I also want to note that just talk about how the Tomorrow War was maybe an even bigger surprise, because the Tomorrow War, we all thought this thing's gonna be a pile of shit. No way this is good.
I thought it was gonna suck ass, and it was a little long. But outside of that, like that's my only complaint. I think it ran about 20 minutes too long, but damn, that was good. I was like, it kind of got me like emotional towards the end. Like it's a great like dad movie.
Yeah, and that was a back-to-back sort of Chris Pratt Amazon banger, because he did that Navy SEAL show that was pretty good too. I forget the name of it. Do you remember?
The Terminal List.
Terminal List. Yeah, when you see like the Terminal List and Chris Pratt, and I'm just like, it was a Prime series. No way this is gonna be good, and it's like kind of awesome. And then this movie's awesome, and like so I don't know where Amazon just like putting out bangers.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but Chris Pratt's actually like he keeps getting roles because he's a pretty good leading man. Like
yeah, exactly.
Right? Like he's definitely had his like fair share of like bad movies. But more often than not, outside the Jurassic World stuff, like he's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I think like the times he's been a leading man and it's been not great has been like sort of out of type, like Passengers sort of stuff, you know, or it's been like Jurassic World where it's just a plug and play. But something like this, I think is perfect for a guy like him. But yeah, really, really enjoyed him in Tomorrow the War, for whatever that's worth. And yeah, those other movies are good too. So my list is Terminator 2, Interstellar, About Time, Hot Tub Time Machine, and Palm Springs. You have Back to the Future, Arrival, Edge of Tomorrow, Your Name, and Idiocracy. We'll throw it up on Twitter for a poll. You can vote on it, whatever, and comment ones we missed, because I know people are going to be pissed because people are always pissed about everything. But make sure you tell us what we missed.
I'm trying to think of like the one that they'll be the most mad that we missed. Probably Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, or like what's it call it? Bill and Ted's.
Yeah, like it's good. It's good, but is it a classic? Is it like an all-time good?
It's a movie where I respect it for its place in that era of cinema. It is not my favorite movie. It is not. I don't never resonated with me too much, and that's. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just wasn't for me, really.
Yeah,
and I don't think the third one did much to fix that either.
Can't wait to talk about Loki. I'll say that much. I still don't know if I know exactly what happened, but
this has been, and people are rightfully like it is better than most other things Marvel still. I still like. I just need to note season 1 of Loki, I think, clears this pretty easily.
Yes, yeah. Like I don't think it's very close.
Yeah, neither do I.
Season 1 was just so much tighter script wise, like so much more understandable and accessible.
Yeah.
This one kind of ties up the emotional beats that season 1 had set up, but did it a little clunkily. Like I don't know if we needed those first 3 episodes. Like first 3 episodes probably could have been 1.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I was watching episodes or moments in the show, and I'm like, they're just trying to throw so much shit at me to make me confused purposely, and I don't feel like it's necessary. You know what I mean? It almost felt like at times, maybe like Tenet is a bad comp, but like it felt like times kind of like that, where I'm like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, it's like I think what I'm watching is good, but to be honest, I just don't know what's happening.
I don't fully understand what it is. Yeah. But anyway, we could talk more about Loki when we have Jeff back as well. But yeah, I didn't fully understand, but I did like it. I did like the final scene. I think final big scene in Loki was sick, beautifully put together too, as far as like CGI construction.
That score rules. I can't believe she fucked up the Obi-Wan.
Still makes no sense. I don't even.
That's like the best theme Marvel's ever made.
It's the best theme Marvel's ever. It's like one of the best things they've ever done. One of the better themes on TV or anything you're gonna hear. And then all of a sudden she does Obi-Wan and it's ass. Like it doesn't. I don't believe it was Natalie Holt. Like it just doesn't seem like it would be her.
Yeah, no. The score ruled last night. That's all I'm going to say. Like that's like the way it kicks in at the very end and like it gets dramatized and like played up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, make sure you comment. For those something we missed, like and subscribe. All the stuff we asked you to do on YouTube, and we'll be back next week. I think we got what'll be our next thing? Hot takes, probably.
Yeah, we'll just have to push this week. They'll have to be extra hot.
Yeah,
we'll be extra hot next week.
Very hot takes next week.
I'll put one out on TikTok. Follow us there. We're trying to grow everywhere we do video. That helps us a ton.
You know, I'm just gonna tell you ahead of time. My hot take is gonna be that thing I've been bitching about critics and the way they speak.
Yeah, do that, please.
Yeah, which actually no, because that's not a hot take. Because people mostly agreed with that, so I can't even do that. Damn, I'm gonna have to work on it. Maybe I should say critics should only talk like that. Maybe that'll be the hot take.
I'm gonna side with the studios.
I do the studios and everything. I was considering posting a TikTok from LCB, and I was gonna like put on a suit and pretend to be like a Warner Brothers executive, like bitching about the SAG-AFTRA or something like that, and being like on the studio side. But I was like, it's too much work. But like putting on all that, and then the algorithm just dumps it out, even if it's like good or put efforts into it. That's just TikTok for you. But yeah, so we'll be back next week, and see you guys then.